Okay, Hotep family, Brother Ron Washington with Black Media Incorporated. Let's talk about economics again in a broader perspective concerning our religious leaders, because I believe that if our religious leaders act now, we can help solve our problems as being an underclass in about the next 5 to 10 years. But our ministers must understand that they must they have more power to help us than our government and our elected officials today. Now, wait a minute, pastors, I understand that what the word says concerning touch not on my anointing and do my prophets no harm. But today I want to touch you and do you some harm and love. Number one, you have a greater influence with a large group of our people at one time. 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes at church, whenever you can make it to church. Which means that you ought to teach them the truth about our economic problem. And number 2 is that then you should give them solutions about how to solve those problems, not only just by giving to the church, but by also supporting all our black businesses and starting their own businesses that can bring real economy out through the church, because we have mega churches all over the place now. Why? Because we need money on earth. We don't need money in heaven. If you believe in heaven, we need money down here on earth. So ministers, I encourage you to encourage your people about business development. And because the average black minister will not do this. He will not do it. He would preach the Bible all year long, but he will not preach and teach about finances and business development inside the church. But when you go down to Tallahassee, Florida, to apply for the church, you have to apply for a business license, because the church today in America is a business. So you got to understand that the same people who enslaved us, raped us, beat us, murdered us, and denied us access to land and access to the church, and not only that, but elected their own black ministers to preach to our people about salvation and how to control them. And I truly believe that a lot of our ministers are still preaching that way and teaching that way, and it's time for us to break away from that chain of slavery, so we can have our people free inside the church, because we have mega churches now. And especially, I'm talking about ministers that have 8,000 to 10,000 people at one time. I mean, you got to be absolutely out of your mind, absolutely crazy to even think that you can't start an economy with that many, or economies, plural, with that many people that's in your presence, that's being taught by you year after year, month after month. And I'm talking about, man, listen, it's not for personal gain, but for the people's gain, for your community, to build and to grow an economy in that community, wherever that mega church is. So we got to understand that there's a lot of entrepreneurial black people, people who has an entrepreneurial spirit inside of them. And I was recently in a restaurant dialoguing with a brother concerning our black problem, and a woman just coming out of church, she kind of rebuked me, you know, and as we were saying it, she said, you know, we ought to be glad that we're not enslaved, and we're doing better. We have mega churches now. And I mean, and I said, well, man, you know, when she finally stopped, I said, well, man, the time we'll be doing good when we go from owning mega churches to owning mega businesses, so we can hire our own people and hire our own children. I mean, you got to think, black people who, they think that just because they live in a $200,000 house and drive a $40,000 SUV, that they think that they're doing good. And some people think that they're doing good because they got 4 or 5 flat screen TVs in their house, but they still poor, they still broke, still don't own and control anything. Ownership is the key to our financial dilemma and deliverance, not buying furniture from the rent-to-own places that's going to charge you double prices for the merchandise. So, minister, I believe that of some of you, not all of you, I believe in a few of you, but not all of you, because I understand, I've been in the church for a long time, and I understand from over the years how black ministers are either controlled by the elected the officials here or within their city, or they just controlled by that spirit, that mentality of slavery, in which they were taught coming out of slavery, and many of them still carry that spirit with them today. So we got to understand that a dream can come true, and it can become a reality, especially in Jacksonville, Florida, from where I'm from. So we got to understand that it's time to break off of the chains that we're still under, because we have fallen from number 2, because before all the other ethnic groups came in America, we have fallen in the ranks as not the number 2 population, but the number 3 population. The Hispanic population has passed us. They have outnumbered us in America, and they're coming in and getting these jobs, and they're fighting for territory. Not fighting, but they're competing with us against territorial land in a lot of these places, and that's just why they take over South Florida down there in Miami, and the blacks down there in Overton and Liberty City, they had to get out of there. Pretty much all of them had to move down to Miami Gardens. But the Hispanics control the political arena and the economic arena down there in Miami, in those black towns. They used to be black, but now they're Hispanic. And not only that, but they have also changed the street signs and made them Spanish. So if you're not bilingual down there, it's going to be very hard for you as a black person or person period to even live down there, because the Hispanic race is taking over. But they are the #2 population now. They've not, and they only been here no more than what, 100 or less than 100 years. But we've been here over almost 500 years, and we are still falling down into the ranks at the bottom of the economic total poll. And not only that, even with our numbers, they're trying to control us through the doors of integration. When they open up the doors for integration for all these people to come over here, and these people are getting the jobs and getting the contracts and the businesses that we should have been getting ourselves. So black people, we got to wake up, because now we're #3. We're the 3rd population in America. And then when the Asians and the Arabs, of course, come together, and they're still flooding out the economy, coming over here illegally. And not only that, we're going to be pushed down to #4. So you got to understand the devastation that can cause us if we go to the #4 population. I'm telling you, we got to wake up and start building our own black district. That's what I've been talking about for a while on YouTube, and not only that, but for the last 15 years here in Jacksonville, Florida. We've been talking about these things. I remember first organizing a group on my job when we began to go out and have about 8 black men would go out and have some luncheons concerning this and talk about this. And then, you know, the guys got kind of disinterested and it fell off. 2 fell off, and then we ate again, and then 4 fell off. Next thing you know, here it is again. I was also pretty much by myself. But I know it's a lot of brothers here and all over the United States got the same vision that I have. We want to see our people rise up. We need to rise up and have our own black district and our own black neighborhoods. If not, you know what, I heard Dr. Anderson say, he said the suburbs, because we have moved and integrated and moving out to these nice suburbs and nice subdivisions where all the other whites live at. He said now the suburbs will become, in the next 10 years, the suburbs will become the new ghettos. So we better be careful about what we're doing and learn how to spend our black dollars with our black people. Why? Because it only makes sense. Okay, and it only makes sense. And this is all I've been talking about. So let's get it together, ministers. Let's get it together. You need to hear about your people and the suffering. We need to come together and to unite up under one economic action plan, and we need to learn how to support each other economically. So black people, remember this. Black History Month is next month. It's January, but next month is Black History Month. So keep Black History alive all year long. I'm Brother Ron Washington with Black Media Incorporated saying this: if it's not making money, it's not making sense. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.